Karen had a new scheme, or at least she thought it was new. She had convinced herself that I was part of the HOA, and that buying the land next to the lake somehow gave her power over me. One morning, she showed up at my property, armed with a clipboard and a long list of demands, expecting me to comply. I was standing on the dock, surveying the calm waters of the lake, when she started yelling, "You're trespassing. You can't just sit here." I raised a hand. "Karen, I own this land, every inch of it, including this dock, the shoreline, and the surrounding property. You have no authority here." Her eyes widened. She hadn't expected me to be so direct or so informed. "That's impossible. I'm the HOA president. This is public property." I shook my head. "Not anymore. I purchased the land legally, all proper documentation filed, deeds in order. Everything here is mine. You are trespassing." She sputtered, trying to come up with another argument, but I interrupted calmly. "Any further interference with my property or attempts to enforce non-existent rules will be considered criminal trespass. You have been warned." Karen, flustered and increasingly desperate, tried to rally other HOA members, insisting they had rights. I smiled and invited them over, presenting my deeds, surveys, and legal documents. Every line of evidence reinforced my ownership. Every inch of the land Karen claimed as community property was legally mine. The board quickly realized they had been manipulated by Karen. Their collective faces went pale as they processed the legal reality. I had purchased the land, and their previous claims were null and void. Karen, meanwhile, was left to argue alone, her authority evaporating before her eyes. By afternoon, I had set up visible boundary markers and additional signage to make it abundantly clear that the land was private. Karen tried to ignore it at first, but soon she realized that any attempt to assert control could land her in court. Her threats became frantic emails and calls, all of which were calmly documented and stored for legal purposes. The neighborhood quickly caught wind of the situation. Neighbors who had previously feared Karen's influence now saw her for what she really was, a meddler with no legal standing. The story spread, cementing my ownership and Karen's humiliation in public record. Karen attempted to claim that the lake itself was community property, but I calmly produced the purchase documents, state filings, and environmental permits. The entire shoreline was mine, and any interference on her part would be met with immediate law enforcement involvement. By the end of the week, Karen had retreated, sulking, while the HOA quietly distanced themselves from her antics. My property was secure, my rights fully enforced, and any notion of HOA oversight on my land completely dismantled. From that day forward, any approach from Karen or the HOA was met with polite, legal clarity. "This land is mine, and their interference is illegal. Even a glance in my direction could result in legal consequences." Karen had learned a harsh public lesson about entitlement, authority, and the boundaries of law. Because in the end, buying what is yours and understanding your legal rights isn't just smart, it's essential. And anyone trying to take what isn't theirs, especially someone like Karen, will quickly learn that ignorance of law has consequences.